We're going to be answering question 2, which is how effective is the combination of your main product and ancillary texts?
So first of all, we're going to talk about how effective our promotional package is altogether. So this consists of the poster, the magazine, and the trailer, and how it creates an effect on the target audience to
Trailer, how they give highlights of what happens in the film trailer in this static image.
Yeah.
Continue.
Okay, so firstly, one of the things that we realised was that all three of us, me, Olivia and Tawana, had used just Ruby in our poster. And I think this is because she's the main character. Not only that, but she's also the antagonist, and she also breaks a lot of conventions in terms of the stereotype for the media and film industry. In my poster in particular, I think my poster specifically really emphasizes how she's not Ruby, the character she plays is not herself, and the way she holds her head shows a loss of control. It gives us a sense of what happens within the trailer, because it shows that, you know, she's going through a troubled period, and the way that I've designed a poster where the poster overlaps and it creates a sort of double vision effect. It shows how there's maybe two personas within the one character that she plays.
In terms of poster, Ruby is not in colour, and the image of her is really distorted. So this links to her mental state of mind of her like not having anything sane about her. She's also holding a lily, which is in colour, alongside Malcolm, who's behind her and who's also in colour. So it kind of links to both of them being like the victims in a way, and them not having a clue about what's going on and only Ruby knowing. The colour of Malcolm's eyes is kind of the colour of like, it's bright, it looks a bit childlike in a way, and this kind of shows or signifies that he sees through the child's eyes, because that's not his eyes, I guess. Yeah. And Ruby, or Jennifer Conaway, who's holding the lily, kind of indicates the storyline as well. And it kind of indicates that by her holding the lily, it's kind of her kind of holding on to her sanity. So yeah.
I think in addition to that, it's also the fact that we figured out early on that a lily is a symbol of death, and we've all used the lily to show that there is, you know, it shows a hint of death that will happen eventually, and I think the fact that we've all used it sort of reinforced the idea that there's these little hints or parts of iconography that really make a huge contribution to the way a poster is effective.
Yeah.
Mine's a double image of my model posing, and she has her hands on her face, and this is to show the split personality of her being a murderer and a mother. How we show this in our trailer, she's confused and she appears to be the mother, and it's really unexpected that she is the murderer. Also, for my poster, she is colour washed red and the background is blue. The red to connote that there is danger, and the blue just to make the red stand out. And the intense colours just show how chaotic the issues are.
With my film poster, it's different from the three, as I just used the main character, Malcolm. Well, what's his name again? Chris Conway. And I feel like I chose him because in the trailer there isn't much about him and his character, but just of his breakdown, and I wanted to have a sense of what he meant to his daughter. So by him looking away from the camera, but then him being there in black and white, not only just it shows his authority / vulnerability within the trailer, and I wanted to make that evidence that the two link. Also, with the cityscape merging from his head, kind of signifies that he's like a London boy, his roots, but however, the link between that and the trailer is that his workplace is placed in Canary Wharf, and then within our trailer we have various shots of him in Canary Wharf and how he's dealing with the issue of his kidnapping of his daughter. But also within the lily flower within my poster and the link to the trailer, the lily flower is symbolic. No, the lily flower is comes from his collar and spreads out, and I gave it to give a sense of his soft side, a side that maybe the audience doesn't see, and how much Lily meant to him, but also how, as Amy explained before, how Lily symbolizes death. So, in a sense, it sort of foreshadowed what happened to Lily herself. And
okay, so next, in terms of we're now going to talk about our magazine, and for me specifically, I think my magazine, in comparison to my poster, shows a different side to the relationship between Chris and Jennifer Conway. This is due to the use of formal attire, as I asked them to dress up in a smart way, but also the way that they posed within this photo shoot, as they had a strong stance. It suggests that they're in somewhat control of their lives, and this is a real
contrast.
This is a real contrast because whilst the poster showed Jennifer as, dishevelled, broken down person, the magazine shows her as a strong, prominent character that is in control of her life ultimately. Personally, I think magazines can have the ability to be rather ambiguous, and as the images are not always as specific through the use of props or iconography, so to speak, as these images can be seen as rather vague. However, in addition to that, in terms of my magazine as well, I created my own tagline, saying that which was a rhetorical question. I used a rhetorical question because it triggers assumptions and thoughts, and this is what could make a magazine effective in terms of, attracting an audience to come and finally watch the film, because it makes them think about whether or not they would actually be able to kill someone and forget, which is the tagline within my magazine, would you kill and forget? However, in comparison to my poster having less conventions and stereotypes to conform to, posters can be more revealing.
Magazine front cover. My magazine front cover is quite abstract, and because I used White Lies, which is actually a music magazine, as inspiration, that design and layout, how they did it. Lily, what's her name? Jennifer, thank you. Jennifer Conway, she's actually in red, so that indicates her emotional state of her being quite destructive and really angry and frustrated. My poster is quite pink and red. It's really fashionable, and it's not really that conventional. It's really unconventional for magazines. And Jennifer again is also holding the lily, which is in red this time in comparison to my poster, which was when it was in white. But in my film cover, the lily is red, so it connects to her. I feel as if with the lily, her holding the lily once more is her kind of feeling that that's the only close connection she has because her daughter is missing. So it's kind of like that lily substituting her daughter. Does that make sense?
Instead of using actors for my front cover, my film magazine, I chose the playwright, the master of, what does it say? The master behind Lily. The reason why I chose to use a playwright is to show that the person, because usually, conventionally in film magazines, it is the actresses and the actors, but they don't really display the person who wrote it. And I did this to show that she is I did this to show that she is the person behind all of this significant storyline. Also, being unconventional and being inspired by Time magazine, there is lack of conventional things of a film magazine, such as a range of taglines, and also keeping the red, white, black color scheme. Yeah, the color scheme. And also in our trailer, being mostly female dominated, also the playwright, she's a female, and it just shows power within women in media, which is unconventional.
Is it me? My film poster is definitely different to how my film magazine is. With my film magazine, it introduced more into the characters that they hadn't seen on my film poster, because obviously it was just Malcolm. But now we got a sense of Ruby and Cheyenne, Jennifer and Clara in the thing. So I think what was really effective was the use of lighting on my film magazine and the effect of chiaroscuro lighting towards Malcolm. I didn't have that effect on my film poster. So in a sense, he's hiding, or there's deepened intentions, which then kind of highlights, into the film trailer, because he does have an affair with his boss. And also the lighting on Ruby is very bright, but then also shows that she's the main character, and then that's also highlighted in the trailer. In terms of proxemics and positioning, Ruby being at the front, her race being white, she's dominating in comparison to the other two who are of a black origin. So I felt that's how we wanted to kind of challenge ethnicity and races and how they're portrayed. So that gives a hint into what our film trailer is about. Also, in terms of costume, Cheyenne and Malcolm, they are dressed in black, so it suggests that they are the bad people in comparison to Ruby, who's wearing a white shirt, which just shows that she's the most important, and kind of gives a sense of foreshadowing of what happens in the trailer, but also that the white shirt can suggest purity and how she's innocent. But then once you get into the trailer, it's kind of goes against that, so we're kind of giving an insight to the audience so that they can kind of guess from themselves what each character has and what the impact they have in the film trailer.